Hello there YouTube, it's Ian here, and again we're going to be working with Windows Server 2008. On the screen here I have a couple tasks we're going to be performing to Server 01. First we're going to install a printer on the network. We're going to deploy printers using Active Directory. We will schedule printer access, and we will manage queued print jobs. First what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to log into your server. You can go ahead and close Server Manager and the initial configuration window when it comes up. Before we can work with installing a printer, we're going to have to install the print services on the server. So in order to do that, you can go to Administrative Tools, go to Server Manager, and right here where the roles are, you can click it and then click Add Roles. Now we're going to be adding the print services roles. Check the print service box, click Next, and go ahead and skip the introduction to print services. We're going to be installing a print server, so you can leave the print server checked, and then it just warned you that the server is going to need a restart. You can go ahead and install that. That's going to take a couple seconds, but I'm going to go ahead and skip that for you. Okay, so once that finishes up, it's going to give you a little message confirming that it was installed correctly. You can go ahead and close that box now. You can exit out of Server Manager. What we're going to need to do now is we're going to need to go to Printer Management. So you go to Administrative Tools, go to Print Management, and if you'll expand the print node right here, you can see on Server 01, that's the computer that we're running right now, you can highlight it and it shows you all the information about that. Now we're going to be wanting to add a printer to this server, so we're going to right click, click Add Printer. We're going to click the radio button for Add a New Printer using your existing port. We'll leave it at the default printer port for now. Go ahead and click Continue. We're going to install a new driver. Now you get this screen, it's the printer installation, and it asks you where are you pulling the driver from. So we're going to go to Generic, and then we will click the MS Publisher Color Printer. Click Next. We're going to name it MS Color 01. We're going to make sure that this checkbox right here next to Share this printer is checked. We can name it the same thing for this exercise. And then we'll click Next. And it gives you the information about that printer. Go ahead and click Next. It's going to install the driver. And click Finish. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding another printer. However, it's going to have a little bit of different settings than the one we just created. So we'll right click again, go to Add a Printer. Before we do that, I'm going to click Expand Printers. And if you notice, once you highlight the printers, you can see the one we just created is right here. Notice how it's ready, 0. Anyhow, we're going to go back and we're going to create another printer to attach it to the server. So we'll add a printer. We're going to use the add a new printer using existing port again. However, we're going to change it to LPT to printer port. Click Next. We're going to install a new driver. We'll leave it at generic. However, this printer is going to be a MS Publisher image setter. Click Next. And we're going to name this one MS Mono 01. Again, make sure the checkbox is checked. Name it the same thing. Click Next. And it tells you about the information of the printer. Click Next. Finish. Now, in doing that, you can highlight the printer and you see the second one we created is right there. Now, in doing this, you have successfully installed a printer on the network. Okay, so now that we've installed a printer on the network, next what we're going to do is we're going to deploy the printers using Active Directory. Now, in order to do that, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to Administrative Tools, go back to Print Management, Now we're going to highlight the MS Color 01 printer that we created earlier. You can right click that and we're going to list it in directory. Okay. Now on the mono printer we're going to right click and deploy with group policy. Now we're going to click from here, we'll go to browse, click default domain policy, and now specify the checkbox next to the computers that this group policy object applies to per machine. Then click OK. Now in order to verify that you have the printers listed in the Active Directory, you're going to need to try to connect to it on another server. However, on that server you've got to make sure that you have the print services role installed, and you also need to make sure that the groups are also installed separately with the group O2 username. I have already done so, and I've put the file services on the server too. Alright, so once you've installed printers on both servers, what you're going to want to do is you're going to click Start, then click Network. Now you can go ahead and turn Discovery on for file sharing. However, you will click Search Active Directory. This drop down menu right here, we're going to click Printers, and then we're going to click Find. And notice how it finds the printer of the server O2. Another key item to notice here is that it only discovers the MS Color O2 printer. This is because in the first steps where we click the MS Color 01 printer, we put it in the Active Directory. The other one we just manage with group policy. And all you need to do in order to connect to this printer is right click it and click connect. Give it a couple minutes and it'll connect. Okay, and then once you've done that, you've successfully deployed the printers using Active Directory. Okay, now that we've installed a printer on the network and we've deployed printers using Active Directory, what we're going to need to do now is we're going to schedule printer access. Now before we do this, we're going to install a new printer on the local server. Go to Print Management, highlight, right click, add printer. We're going to specify to use the default printer port. We're going to install a new driver. It's going to be a MS Publisher color printer. Click Next. And this one we're going to name MS Color 01-PM. The share name will also be the same. Make sure that the share this printer checkbox is checked. The share name is also the same. Go ahead and click Next. And you've successfully installed that printer. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the printer properties of the printer that we created earlier. Go ahead and highlight the MS Color 01. Going to right click, and you're going to go to Properties. You will click the Advanced tab, and to schedule access, you will highlight the radio button Available From. We're going to make this 9 to 5 access. So you'll just click the buttons until you get 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Priority you can leave 1. Then click OK. Now we're going to go back to that same properties for that printer. We're going to go to the Security tab. We're going to add a group. Here we'll type in domain user. Click OK. And then click OK again. Alright, now that we've scheduled printer access, we are going to manage the queued print jobs. Now first, in order to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to open up the print management box. We will look at the MS Mono 01 printer, and we will open the sharing tab. Go ahead and highlight that. Click Properties, and then go into the Sharing tab right here. Make sure that the Share this printer is checked. We will clear the render jobs on the client computer checkbox. Click Apply, and then go to the Advanced tab. We will select the Start Printing after last page is spooled. Okay, now we will select the Hold Mismatched Documents checkbox, and then we will click OK. We will then close this, and we're going to click Start, and we're going to open up Internet Explorer, and we're going to send 3 print jobs to the MS Mono 01 printer. In order to do this, we will open up the print, we will click Print, we will highlight the MS Mono 01 printer. Okay, now we're going to click Print. That sends 1 job to the printer. Now we need to send 3, so we'll do that 2 more times. Okay, 1 and 2. Okay. Now once we've done that, we're going to open up the Print Management console, Administrative Tools, Print Management. We're going to expand the node representing our server, and under Printers, we're going to select the Mono printer. Notice how it's giving us an error. We're going to right click the printer, we're going to actually right click the printer node, and we will click Show Extended View. Notice how it gives the document names and the status of the printing job. Okay, now what we're going to do from here is we're going to right click the printer server node in the console. Once you've done that, we will select the Add Remove Servers. In the Add Server box, we're going to key the name of the partner server. Click Add to List, and notice how it adds it to the list. We will click Apply, and click OK. Now we're going to expand the node representing our partner server. We will highlight the printers, and we can select the Mono 02 server. Now once you've done that, you've managed the print queue jobs, and that concludes Lab 4. Working with print services. Thank you for watching.